fate.
This is the way. Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Tells me when you'll remember this.
Hello, critics, non-critics, and friends. Welcome to the Film Optix podcast, where we take a glance into comic book movies, blockbusters, indie films, and everything in between. I'm your host, Christian, and I'm joined by my co-host, Devin. And today we're going to be taking a trip to the jungle to find the Lost City, which is also the name of the movie that we're reviewing today. That's the name of the movie. Yeah, I think so. Absolutely.
I think at one point it was the Lost City of D, but they took the D out.
Or is it the Lost City of V? I don't know. Some very interesting stuff. Very, very interesting stuff. But a little bit of housekeeping before we begin today's episode. You can listen to our podcast on podcast platforms around the internet. That includes Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Audible, and more. And if you are a new or seasoned listener to the show, we would love to hear from you guys. Follow us on Instagram and follow us on Twitter at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X, or email us at filmoptix@gmail.com for any movie related questions. Devin, how are you doing today? I know we just finished recording one episode, but how are you doing today, man?
Yeah, same thing as the last episode. It is still Monday.
It
definitely feels like it.
It's been a crazy Monday for me, man. I don't know. I'm just ready. I'm ready for spring, but I feel like spring has not sprung. So I feel like I need to take a vacation.
Definitely has not sprung here.
No. Even where I am, it's I feel like I need to take like an exotic like expedition, like through the jungle or something, just to kind of
like the Dominican Republic, like this movie.
Yeah, exactly. I need to take a trip with the Lost City crew. My gosh, with Dash and all of his glory, and Sandra Bullock as well. But yeah, man, so you've been watching anything new at all, or just kind of going through the motions, or getting ready for some Star Wars Day, watching some new Star Wars movies?
I've been watching the Lakers show on HBO.
What is it called?
Showtime or something like that.
Oh, it's on HBO?
It's the reason that Adam McKay and Will Ferrell broke up, basically.
Oh, wait, is that the Oh, okay.
It's called Winning Time.
Winning Time. Okay, I wasn't sure if that was the Laker Dynasty thing they have on HBO with Adam McKay or not. So that's what it is. Oh, that's what it is. Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah, I want to check that out. I mean, honestly, I haven't been. Well, okay, I have been watching. I'm starting my Star Wars rewatch early. I have a interesting piece that'll be dropped on May 4th. So I've been working on that. So I made it through the original trilogy so far. I'm going to be going through every Star Wars movie, not just the main entries, not just Rogue One, and not just Solo the Star Wars story. We're talking Clone Wars movie, and we're talking the holiday special on Disney Plus, and the infamous, the original Star Wars holiday special. Man, oh man, that's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely, I'm going to be doing that for In Session Film. So definitely check on May 4th over on In Session Film for my piece over there, ranking every single Star Wars movie there is. So I'm very, very excited for that. But Devin, are you excited to get into this adventure? Go a little jungle hunting, a little adventure through the Amazon.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after this introduction to the Lost City.
Listen, Loretta, we need you to promote your new book on the Lost City. You can't spend your life in the bathtub drinking Chardonnay with eyes.
Ladies and gentlemen, the world's sexiest cover model, Dash McMahon!
You do know you're not Dash, right? Dash is a character I made up. Dash! Oh my God. Oh, crap.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with our coverage of The Lost City, and the synopsis is as follows. a reclusive romance novelist on a book tour with her cover model gets swept up in a kidnapping attempt that lands them both in a cutthroat jungle adventure. This is directed by Adam and Aaron Nee. The writers include Dana Fox, Adam Nee, and Orne Uziel, and stars Sandra Bullock, Channing Tatum, and Daniel Radcliffe. So I'm going to pass it over to Devin because I actually saw it about a week ago. So and Devin's seen it a little bit more recent than I have. So I'm going to give him a chance to give his initial reactions of The Lost City.
Well, I remember when that trailer first came out, I was just like, this looks really, really bad. And then in the trailer, they show a certain character, a guest actor appearance. And I'm like, why would you show that? That was stupid. You ruined the movie. I don't know why you would ruin that in the trailer. I still agree with that part, but I definitely don't think it was as bad as I was expecting. I didn't love it, but better than I thought it would be. Definitely had some entertaining moments. In general, I'm not really a Sandra Bullock fan, and that's probably the biggest reason I don't really like it that much. I just don't think she's very entertaining for me. And I felt like everything she said just got no laughs in the theater. Like,
oh, really?
0 out of 100 for her jokes.
So how was your theater experience overall when you went to go see it? Like, was there a lot of people there?
There's probably like 10 people.
Yeah. Given the weather where you are. Yeah, that makes sense. For me, man, I got to say, like, for my reaction, I think this movie was great. Like, this is probably one of the best, like, hidden gems so far of 2022.
I will declare it probably is better than Uncharted, which is not good for Uncharted.
It is 100% better than Uncharted. Like, absolutely. When was the last?
But not quite as good as Jungle Cruise. I'll put Jungle Cruise.
Oh yeah, Jungle Cruise. Are we throwing Jumanji into the mix there as well?
I mean, you're the one that hates The Rock, so I'll let you decide.
I do not hate The Rock. He's a fine man. He's a very nice.
You don't want him to slap you. No. You might not recover from that one.
If there is any celebrity out there who I would never want to be on their bad side, it would be The Rock. Like,
he's so powerful physically and generally.
Not even just the physicality, like his physical being. Like, it's kind of like having the one friend and you never want to get on their bad side, because when you are, it's like the worst thing in the world, because you've pissed off like the nicest, the most kindest human being that you can ever meet in your entire life. Like, I would never want to be on The Rock's bad side. Unfortunately, Vin Diesel is, but yeah. But yeah, I gotta say, for Sandra Bullock, I actually think the last movie I saw her in was Bird Box, and that was ages ago.
Oh yeah, that was rough.
But okay, I liked Bird Box for what it was for a Netflix
there's
movie.
There's never been a worse popularity to quality ratio for a movie ever. It was not good enough to be that popular just because everybody was in the pandemic at home. That's all it was.
When did Bird Box come out? That didn't come out during the pandemic.
Was it?
No, that was. Wait, let's look this up. Bird Box did not come out during the pandemic because I was
2018.
Okay, that makes more sense. I was like, I knew exactly where I was.
Well, that makes even less sense. I don't know how it was so popular. Just because it was on Netflix.
I think it was just one of those movies that kind of took by storm. It's, it's like people watching Bridgerton or Stranger Things, or what was Netflix's like first like really big hit series, Orange is the New Black, I believe. I think it was just one of those movies, because I can't recall watching Netflix movies as much in 2018 as I do now. Maybe it was just because I was watching more TV, but yeah, Bird Box was definitely, I don't know. It was just one of those movies. But back to The Lost City, for my initial reaction, I had a blast with this movie. I was not expecting it to be this good. When I went to my screening here in town, my audience ate it up. They loved it. Like, critics, non-critics, everyone was just having a good time. And honestly, it's been a while since, well, maybe even this year, since probably like February, which honestly wasn't that long ago. But between like this and like, let's say Jackass Forever, like those are probably the two best, like laughing experiences I've had this year, just because people were just having a good time. You know, I mean, this movie is very surface level. It's not a very, there's not a lot of heavy meaning, or like, you don't need to have like a high intellect or anything to understand what's going on. It's just a really fun, crazy popcorn flick.
It's schlock, just like what she writes.
Schlock. And actually, like, I mean, for Sandra Bullock, I do like with her character how she is a very high intellect linguist when it comes to her writing her novels. And you kind of see the writing process a little bit, but I mean, you got to take that with a grain of salt, because this is probably one of the most ridiculous movies you'll ever see in your entire life. But I don't think that stops it from being entertaining, which is, you know, what movies really set out to be. You know, there are the movies that are more of like an art form. But this is just one of those movies that it just makes you smile all together. And I really, really enjoyed that 100%. But did you have anything else you wanted to throw in before we get into spoilers here?
Yeah, let's get into spoilers, because the first thing I want to mention is a spoiler.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is your first spoiler warning for The Lost City. Again, that is your second spoiler warning for The Lost City. So if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it in theaters and then come back to the podcast and listen to us talk more about this movie. You know, did we like it? Did we hate it? I don't know. But there's one thing I think people aren't really liking right now, Devin, and that is the box office. Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum's Lost City takes down The Batman with a $31 million debut. That's crazy. It's crazy to think about. I mean, this is from opening weekend, so it's, I don't know. What do you think?
Pretty good.
Yeah, that's actually pretty.
And it didn't have bad CGI like Uncharted. Definitely helps.
It really is bad that we were comparing this to Uncharted. It's like, you know what? I like The Lost City a lot more.
Silly Sandra Bullock rom-com is better than Uncharted. That's the state of Sony right now. But the first thing I wanted to mention was Brad Pitt. Like, why is he in the trailer? That would have been so cool if we didn't know he was in the movie. That would have been hilarious.
I'm actually okay that he was in the trailer. I do agree it would have been a nice surprise, but like, I don't think it really took anything away, because his character was so short-lived. And I love how they, you know, how he this out of nowhere. It was like something trainer.
Yeah, I definitely saw the death coming. As soon as that camera angle, I was like, oh, his head's gone.
But man, there are so many moments in this movie. It just made me laugh. I think the number one thing is when they get into like the small little like teal buggy car. Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum. They're spinning around and she's still stuck in the chair. She's in the back seat.
Yeah, being like wheelbarrowed out in the chair was pretty funny.
But like when Channing Tatum, like he stops the car because they're getting away from Daniel Radcliffe's men, and I want to talk about him for sure. But he thinks she like is flown out the car window, and he just looks like he's playing like this. Like Channing Tatum is playing like the super dumb yet fun type of character that you can't just help but love. But of course, as we see in the movie, everyone's attracted to him, and it kind of makes it harder to, you know, that kind of people tend to overlook other qualities of him, which is hilarious. Which is hilarious by every single meme that I can think of. But man, oh man, I will say for the pacing, I think the pacing was good, but I feel like the movie was a tad too long, because it doesn't really start becoming a rom-com, like a romantic comedy, really until like the last 40, 30 minutes of the movie. It's kind of with Channing Tatum and with Sandra Bullock's character, you know, they start to develop feelings for each other, but I feel like it is more of comedy than
and it feels like that part just didn't really make sense to me, because she says in the beginning I think she was a sapiosexual. I've never heard of it before, but someone who's attracted to intellect and knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But then she falls in love with Dash, who is the opposite of that.
Hey man, you don't control who you fall in love with, so I guess it is what it is.
I think that beach scene had something to do with it.
Oh, for sure. It's sucking on me like a Jamba Juice. Ooh, that was crazy. But really quick, I wanted to talk about Daniel Radcliffe's character. I think he he's been in a lot of things. It's really hard for people to not associate him with Harry Potter as much anymore, but it's always, it is a part of his DNA.
This is like the second movie he's done where he's just kind of the cartoon over the top bad guy. He was also in Now You See Me Too, like the same type of character. It's an interesting choice. It's kind of just an easy one to go for, just the cartoonishly evil bad guy.
Yeah. I think it works though for him in this movie. I really do think it works, because I think the last movie I saw him in was Guns Akimbo. And I was like, wow, that was
interesting.
That was a very interesting. I remember we covered that. Oh my gosh. Yeah. What was it? That was 2020. Oh my gosh. Ugh, the pandemic was real. We were like, yeah, let's review this.
And he was in Playmobil, the movie.
He was. I really just like how, even from anyone from the cast of Harry Potter, they're not in these super, super big movies as much anymore. Outside of Emma Watson for Greta Gerwig's Little Women in 2019, but they kind of just, they just pick roles that they think that are interesting and the roles they think that they'll have fun with. And I kind of admire that. Like, there's not a lot of pressure on them to kind of, be like in a Marvel movie. And I know a lot of people are talking about Daniel Radcliffe wanting to be in Wolverine, or play as Wolverine because of his height and whatnot. But I mean, he seems to be interested in it. But overall, like you said, he's that devilishly over the top cartoon evil character that kind of just, the mustache twirly character who's half goofy, half serious, and starts to kind of go on a little bit of a mental breakdown, and his family drama was really, really funny as well. So I think that was it was a nice touch to add him, and I think it's a very nice cast overall. What did you think of Sandra Bullock's best friend?
PR person. Yeah, I thought she was fine. I think for me, the one who stole the show was the assistant, the random assistant they had.
Oh,
I thought she had a couple of great lines. When she calls the grandma a slut. That was really good.
The grandma was living life on the edge. Let me tell you, man, it's it's some crazy stuff. But yeah, I do agree. I
wanted to discuss Channing Tatum for a little bit, because I feel like this is he's kind of similar in the same vein to John Cena for me, where when he's in comedic roles, that's where he shines the most. That's where he's at his best. Because obviously 21 and 22 Jump Street were just amazing, hilarious movies. He also was in Free Guy briefly, amongst some other things. But I mean, when he's in this comedic role, he just nails it. He's got the timing down, and that's just where his wheelhouse is. So I hope he continues that. I've never seen any of the Magic Mikes. I don't know if those are any good, but I don't know if Dog's good. It looks pretty generic, but
yeah, I was going to ask you if you've seen Dog, but I did want to touch on what you were talking about with the comedic roles of Channing Tatum, because I feel like, especially nowadays, he's really honed in on those skills when it comes to the comedic aspect of everything. And I mean, I think I think it works for him. It's almost as if he's kind of just taking the same route as Ryan Reynolds. They know what they are, and they, it's not like they're actively seeking these super over dramatized roles and whatnot, and they're kind of just going through the motions, having fun with what they what they're given with, and that's about it. I was actually trying to look on Rotten Tomatoes for the audience and tomato meter, but it is not popping up for me at all on my phone and or on my computer. But if you're able to look that up, let me know, because I wonder if there's something wrong with this page for Rotten Tomatoes. It's very interesting to see it's displaying 0 reviews and no ratings. I'm like, well, it's been out for a while, but
yeah, it's showing 0s.
That's very interesting. Very, very interesting. But yeah, overall, did you have any other last spots, pretty much final thoughts before we kind of close out here?
Gotta give a shout out to Oscar Nunez.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure seeing some Office alumni pop up here and there. It's been a while.
It has been a while for him. But Brad Pitt coming back towards the end, that was hilarious.
Then nothing really happens.
No, nothing really happens to them at all. Nothing at all. It kind of sucks, but it is what it is. But yeah, overall, I think my biggest negative of this movie, and it's kind of unfortunate because there's really not much to talk about because it is a comedy. So it's very surface level, the story is going to be the story and whatnot. It really is more just about the performances. But I will say the script was actually written very well for this. It kept me engaged, a lot of laughs, a lot of, chuckles and whatnot. But I think the biggest downfall for me was probably just runtime. I feel like they could have done without the romantic comedy vibe, and this could have been like an easy hour and 30-minute film.
Yeah, the romantic part just doesn't make sense to me. Just there's no real reason for them to be together at the end. Yeah.
Unless we go back for Lost City 2.
Sure they will.
Hey, I'll take that over a second Uncharted movie, to be completely honest with you. But yeah, let's go ahead and wrap up here. This is just more of a short episode for you guys. Sorry about that. It's been a long day, and there's not too much to talk about here, which is very, very I can't say if that's a good or a bad thing, because like I said, it's a comedy. There's just not a lot of there's really not a lot of character development as well. They kind of just, they're going through the mills. It's more of like a big rescue mission, and it's over the top, silly, fun entertainment. But I do congratulate the directors for creating such a fun movie, a hidden gem for sure. Just because I feel like this movie's flying underneath a lot of people's radars. But if you're looking for a good laugh, it is definitely it is a great family flick. If you're just looking for something to do on a Saturday afternoon, hop into the theater and go see it. It's amazing. So, I guess I'll give, for ratings here, I'll give this one, I forgot. Actually, I don't think I put it on Letterboxd yet. I would give this one like 3 stars. Like, I think like a solid, hold on. I would give it like a solid, like B. Just for comedic effects. It did its job of what it wanted to do. It knows what it is. It doesn't try to take itself too seriously. And it's just a very self-aware film that anyone can enjoy. So, Devin, what about you? What's your score?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it like a 61. Definitely better than I thought it was going to be going in, and better than Uncharted. But yeah, had some issues. Don't love Sandra Bullock. I feel like her character just was kind of coasting throughout. But there's a few funny moments here and there. I actually saw this with my parents. Took them to go see it. Might as well.
Yeah.
It's definitely a mom type of movie.
Yeah. I guess the one underlying thing would be for Sandra Bullock's character. It's because, she was trying to get over the death of her husband and kind of, just being a little bit more so of a hermit here and there. And trying to break out of that for her was probably very, very difficult. So, but yeah, that's like probably one thing I could think about of, a deeper message for this movie. But that's pretty much it. So that concludes our episode here of The Lost City here on the Film Optix podcast. Again, thank you, Devin, for always coming on. Really could not do the show without you, man. So we do appreciate, or I do appreciate, we. There's only 2 of us. But, man, what might be coming up in the podcast, you might ask. So as of this recording, if you're listening to this, our Oscar reaction episode should be up and rolling and ready to be listened to. We also are going to be covering Moon Knight when that hits on Wednesday, March 30th. We'll probably drop that on Thursday just to kind of give us a little bit more wiggle room, but we're going to be recording that on Wednesday for sure. We have our X movie review that is out right now, as well as our Turning Red and the Adam Project review that is out on the podcast as well. And we'll be closing out our Hunger Games franchise revisited series sometime in April. So we'll be definitely doing that for you guys. End of an era there for that franchise for sure. And always make sure, if you do anything, if you take anything away from this episode, it's to share an episode or share this episode with a friend in need. Whether it be a mother, a brother, your lover, whoever it may be, make sure to share an episode of the Film Optix podcast with a movie lover in need. So that pretty much wraps up today's episode, and we will see you guys next time. Have a great start to your week. And that's a wrap for today, everyone. Thank you all for listening. And if you enjoy the show, follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Leave us a 5-star rating over there. And follow us on Twitter and Instagram to stay in the know. That was Devin. My name is Christian. And we'll see you guys in the jungle.
Peace.